Welcome our viewers, Dr. Kaushik here on the Sapien show. Today's talk of the show is Dare to Dream. We are blessed to have one of the armed forces doctors. She is courageous army officer and medical profession with specialization in community medicine and public health. Major Dr.Ashlesha Tawde Kelkar has served in Indian Army as a medical corp at counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operation areas of Jammu and Kashmir along the line of control. She has awarded Special Service Medal Operation Rakshak and Sainya Seva Medal for recognition of her service. Currently, she is working in tribal areas of Raigad district of Maharashtra under Unnat Bharat Abhiyan, a flagship program of Government of India. Please welcome Major Dr. Ashlesha Tawde Kelkar on the Sapien show powered by Dentmed Research and Journals Private Limited.
Namaskar. Hello.
When did you commissioned into Indian Army and what obstacles did you have faced in the Army?
I was commissioned in 2009 after I finished my internship, MBBS internship, and that is a process. It's there is a notification which is given in all national newspapers, where if you are qualifying for given your marks, your academic performance, etc., then you apply for this Armed Forces Medical Corps, Army Medical Corps, and then after that a call comes to your residential address, which asks you for the interview, gives you the dates, etc. That time it used to be in Delhi. Now it is held in multiple places. Okay. After the interview, the next day is your medical test. And if you clear your interview, you are given for the medical test. If you clear your medical test, then a letter comes to your home as you are commissioned in Indian Armed Forces as captain. For a doctor, we are directly commissioned captain. It was some of the dates we never miss, we never forget. So the date of your commissioning is such importance that you never ever forget it. It is 26th of February 2009. That is when I was commissioned. I was commissioned in Southern Command Hospital, that is in Pune. And it is the initial posting where for civilian doctors, we are given a station or a center which is closer to our hometown. From Mumbai, Pune is close by. So so I was given that I am supposed to report on this given date at this given time. Hurdles as such, there are no hurdles, but yes, it is not easy. It's a straightforward or simple process, I can say, but not easy. So
what was your reactions of your parents when they got to know about you commissioned on 26th of Feb 2009, and how much support did you have got from your in-laws in this process?
So when I was applying for armed forces, it was, a person, an individual, when decides to take armed forces as career, it is not one person's decision, it's an entire family's decision. So because the entire family is now a part of a larger family of armed forces, so it cannot be one person's individual's decision. So my parents were always with me throughout the process of right from applying for the for the particular commission, and when I got a letter, then I went for the interview. My father accompanied me there. Then thereafter, when I received a letter, it was such a time when I was actually preparing, because my would-be husband, he was in US that time. I was not married, but he was in US, and right after internship, because the marriage is decided. The groom, he is in USA. It is only but natural, very natural to, expect that the girl will also do some entrance exams for the United States and will be traveling there. Somehow that did not happen. Like you asked me, the in-laws, they also supported, although they knew that that their son, he is in US and I am here, and if I tomorrow join armed forces, it's going to be a tough decision and tough future. In spite of that, because I wanted to go ahead and do this, they completely supported me. Not just my parents, but also my in-laws supported me equally for my decision, and even after that.
As this show is Dare to Dream, it's basically with the women empowerment into the armed forces. Will you please tell me the parents, who didn't ever have thought as the daughter's career into the Indian Army, what would be your call and what would be your suggestions and opinions to the viewers? Will you please explain in elaborately?
Kaushik, a very, very important point you're touching here. When a girl chooses a career in India, it's not only her decision. It has to be backed by her parents, firstly, and the family, and not just one family. If she is married, both sets of families. For parents, I would say, armed forces is looked at as a career with sacrifice, which is male dominant field, and where you're supposed to be losing, supposed to be away from family, and whether it is safe. I can tell you from my own experience that a career like armed forces is unparalleled to any career for a girl or a boy, for that matter, in today's date. When we look at armed forces, it's not at all going to be sacrifice, losing life, losing family. When we look at it, we as parents, or this is for the parents. So when we are talking to our children, when you are discussing a career option, you should first know that your child has that capability within her or him. There are some parents who have come to me, Kaushik, who say that I could not go to armed forces, but I want my girl, my daughter or my son to go. But then the very first and most important is that the son or daughter should want to go. And once they do want to go, the parents' role is to facilitate, not force.
I mean to say that like a will to have enter into the armed forces and serve the nation, as soul can speak better than the individual characteristic of that individual.
There is something that we dream of. There is something that we are capable of.
Yes.
Right? And something that one should do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So when all three come together, it is a wholesome development of a particular individual. If only I have a dream, but I do not have the capacity, or I don't have the ability, then me forcing myself into that career will not help. So the parents must know their child's, their wards, their girl, their son, their ability. If they can sustain in that life, how will they know? Today, it is very, very easy. We are on cyber platform. Everything is available on cyber platform, including all informations regarding all armed forces careers. Everything is available on given websites. It was back then when it was not very much on internet, where my father actually took effort to go to people who have served. There were very few. There were not many ladies. Especially, I come from Maharashtra, Marathi. So very few girls who have served in armed forces.
The year 1992 was the breakthrough year for the women who was being commissioned into the armed forces. And since then, the whole platform for the armed forces have been changed. So, what would you like to share some thoughts about that process, which is being executed long back in 1992?
Armed Forces Medical Corps, Army Medical Corps, AMC, what we know, has always had lady officers and they have been given permanent commission. The reason being, Armed Forces Medical Corps, Army Medical Corps does not just cater to the Jawans, the boys, but also families of army who consist of ladies and not only from cities, tier 1, 2, but from Dehat of India. And they need to be looked after, and they will not open up in to a gentleman officer. They would feel more comfortable with a lady officer, lady medical personnel looking at them. So that is the reason why we always had permanent commission in Armed Forces Medical Corps. In fact, AMC is the only corps where we have saris as one of our dresses officially. Just because a lady in OG pants, shirt, suit sitting in front of a lady from Dehat, somebody's ma, Jawan's mother,
so
she will not be able to connect.
So is it a psychological connect with the Jawans and
not just Jawans but their families as well.
Also, yeah.
So it's like you can imagine how a old lady sitting in front of me as my patient looks at me and thinks, whatever I say, she's not going to understand. If I am instead in a sari, she still has some kind of connect. She thinks she can understand. She's a lady. That lady part is captured or tapped into, that quality of a woman to have a sensitivity or emotional connect with the individual in front is tapped into by Armed Forces Medical Corps by this very move of being Army Medical Corps having lady officers always as permanent commission officers.
What was your experience at the line of control? Will you please elaborate to the audiences?
Yes, sure. In fact, I do not speak much about these experiences because they are sometimes very hard to relate to. After my first posting, we are given an Armed Forces training. So the training college or Army Officers Training College is in Lucknow. We are given proper combat training. It is physical training, weapon training, army or military medicine to a certain extent, as well as military studies like history and various other military writing, etc. So all these subjects we have to study. So it's not just me being a doctor getting into armed forces, but a lot of background study has to be done. We have to actually secure good grades into it, to finally get ourselves commissioned officers. So that was in Lucknow, and after that we get our field postings. So our first field posting mine was in Naushera. It is a field hospital, and once we are inducted into the field, it is a counter-insurgency and counter-terrorism operation right at LOC. And luckily for me, fortunately for me, I did get to be part of quite a few operations. Our commanding officer never really, discriminated for that matter between a lady officer or a gentleman officer. Whatever the assignment was, whatever the requirement was, we were sent as per our abilities as doctors or officers and not as lady or gentleman officer, right? So I did get to be a part of quite a few operations at various battalions, because doctors are a common pool for various regiments, and not just regiments, across the three services as well. So Army, Navy, Air Force, the doctors come from same pool of AMC, Army Medical Corps. And similarly, we are not specific to the regiments, but we are sent to various regiments. So that way we get to be part of various Jat regiment, Maratha regiment, many a times in RRs. Then there were grenadiers or Madras regiment. There were various such groups of, or we call them groups, but they are basically battalions. So we get to be a part, and we get to live with, we get to see the lives from up close of various battalions. And they are battalions in the sense they come from various regions of India. Armed forces is tough not just because it is close to near death experience, but the variety of personalities every day you have to meet and tackle with itself is also one of the toughest things to do. The doctors there, like us, it's not our jawans are our jawans are physically fit, right? They are supposed to be kept fit the way they are, and that's a task. And not just physically fit, but also mentally, right? So the responsibility is that a physically fit and physically tough person needs to be mentally fit as well, and ready for combat at any given point of time. So mental health is one of the things that we have to look at all the time.
There is one misconception, like you have to be tough if you want to get into the army, or is it like army make you tough? What is your call on this?
Yes, you are just right on point. Yes, many a times there are these misconceptions where my ward or myself, I was not so good at physicals, etc., and that is why I did not opt for armed forces as a career, or I cannot go for the medical requirements or prerequisites are predefined. If you do fit into them, you are fit to opt for or apply for the services. If you are tough enough, seriously speaking, Kaushik, you do not know how tough you are until you are tried, your limits are tried. Right? Army does not change who you are. It only tells you or extends your
I mean to say it like channelize your pathways.
It just it shows you that your limit is not here. You have very high limits, or sky is the limit. So it's not really going to change who you are. It's going to give you a different perspective of yourself and of the world as well. You cannot really say sitting here that I am not tough enough until and unless you try it yourself on ground, on foot, on in the real scenario. Armed forces really makes you the best of yourself. That is what I can say. It is not going to change who you are. If you have it in you, it will bring it out. The services will definitely, जैसे हीरा है, उसे तराशना है. How a diamond needs to be cut so that it shines the brilliantly the way it does. That is done by armed forces, and it never is lost even after after you're out from the service. Once the diamond is cut, it does not go back.
It's
does it?
No. Will you share me your experiences while you were posted in Jammu and Kashmir area in the Poonch Rajouri, Nowshera, and Surankot.
Yes. When I was posted, my first field posting was in Nowshera, Rajouri, Poonch, Surankot. If we see on the map of the country, we see that these are far-flung areas from at the LOC line of control. The first time I went there, it was the first time ever I had gone to Jammu and Kashmir. And I was not sure how the weather is going to be, how the terrain is, how the language, etc. So there were many uncertainties. There was only one thing that was certain, that was my determination. And when, not, I won't say as a girl, but when one decides and one takes up armed forces as a career, there is this innate strength that is called into or called for, which makes all other hurdles look really petty. So all these were not even hurdles. They were not even difficulties. For a girl who born, brought up in Mumbai, studied in Mumbai, and not really been away from the family much, straight away going to border area alone sounds tough. But really, it wasn't that tough, because that is the training, that is what the army training does to you, I feel. There were quite a few times when these experiences, what you are asking, there were a few times which that every day is war. Every day you are dealing with something which you will not deal otherwise in rest of your lifetime, as a doctor, as an individual, in civil. But still there are some experiences which I cannot forget.
I mean to say, it test your the endurance into the mental strength, keeping your mental strength as one of the topmost peak area of your.
Yes, one of the times where there was our unit, our unit is just right, across the road which connects connects Jammu, the town Jammu, to Poonch. There is only one road, and it runs by the river. And once there was a vehicle which was coming down from Rajouri, and a boys vehicle. So it was an army vehicle and a civil vehicle, and they got a head-on collision. And the vehicle which was going down, there was a lady who was in labor.
Okay.
There was this accident right a few meters away from the gates of our hospital, field hospital. And we got the news that the casualties are coming, mass casualty, right? So boys as well as civilians. And then we came to know that there is a lady who's in labor. There were bad casualties. Somebody's ear was slashed in two pieces. Somebody's, let's not be very visual, but yes, there were bad casualties. And this lady going in labor, bleeding. It was really tough. But just armed forces, one thing I can always tell is you can count on your colleagues. Camaraderie is something which is, which is imbibed into us. Okay. So when I know I have a strong team whom I train, my boys I train, the way we function is like one cohesive unit. And there is a triage, obviously. Triage is something that we all learned from armed forces. So immediately things came into action. But the lady, the civilian lady, because I was the only lady officer that time present there, that her responsibility, and because she was a civilian, she was from a sect where, they were very reserved towards, ladies being exposed to other gentlemen or whatever. Somehow I got the baby delivered. It was a girl child. And then we immediately took her to, again, back to Rajouri's General Hospital. Somehow we could manage that. The child and the mother, they were safe. There were no fatal casualties, although there were injuries. Our team, the whole unit was, obviously it comes into play. We are trained for that. But then this was the toughest part, and which I had to handle, because there was no lady officer. I have been in places where there are 7,000, 8,000 gentlemen cadets or gentlemen officers and jawans, and only one lady. That is me. Not lady, no other lady, no other family, no other lady officer. Never felt insecure, never felt scared at all. But because being the only lady and doctor there, it was my responsibility to make sure that this girl delivers safely. And that happened. I was relieved. Away from my family, young that time, 26, 27 maximum age. So it was a draining experience. My father, I called him and my mom at home, and I told them I just took a bath with blood, and but I'm happy because the girl child that was born is hale and hearty. Later, it was some August, something like that time. Later, one of the Saturdays, we were all sitting in the unit, evening office time, and it was this Raksha Bandhan period, right? Rakhi ka tyohar. And some of the officers had received their Rakhis. And I was just sharing with them that I am the only child, I'm the only daughter of my parents, no brothers, no sisters, never really thought, of that. And nobody to, rather, even if I send Rakhi to somebody, it's not going to wear, when will it reach, etc. And one of the families at the main gates, the Santri called in, and he mentioned, the CO Saab se milna hai, civilian family aaya hua hai. They came in. It was a girl, and her small baby is the same girl and her family, and the child which was delivered few days back. The family had gotten her here to our unit, and not just that, they had gotten Rakhis for all our officers, including me. So here I was, thinking whom to send Rakhi to, or how will I send Rakhi to one of my, cousin brothers maybe. And here there was a family in the field who had gotten Rakhi and tied it to me, because I saved the girl's life and her child.
So I'm just speechless, and as a civilians, we are actually we should all actually should be inducted to the biggest brand of India, that's Indian Army. Will you please explain me what are the major difference between the peace postings and the field postings?
So, field posting is where there is active armed forces engagement, and where there is no apparent or active armed forces engagement, we call them peace postings. But let me tell you, an army officer is never at peace, really. He is always an officer, and wherever there is requirement, he has to be the officer first. So even in peace posting, my peace posting was, like I told you, the pool of doctors is common for Army, Navy, Air Force. So after my field posting in Jammu and Kashmir, CICT Ops area, for 3.5 years, more than that, I was sent to one of the Navy's logistics units, INS Hamla, and also served a very crucial engagement with Western Naval Command's workup team. Workup is like audit, but much more in detail, right to the, when we say T, it is right to one last screw that we need to audit, and the medical part of it I had to. since I was from armed forces, it was done for the first time for a naval base. Generally, it is for naval, ships. So this was the first time it was happening for a naval base in Mumbai. And one of the most growling of exercises is this workup, of which I got to be a part of it. A lot of learning. So even in peace, there are quite a few engagements which armed forces have to constantly deal with. They may be not equivalent to actually firing bullets or receiving bullets on their chests, but they are nevertheless not at all less important, and we always know that when there is a time of any crisis, including COVID.
How Army have shaped your life from an extraordinary woman to an extraordinary leader?
I really like, Kaushik, how you put the question, really, extraordinary woman to an extraordinary leader. Every woman is extraordinary wherever she is, whatever profession, whatever capacity she's working in, not just professionally, but also personally. And that strength really is a blessing, I feel, every time, bestowed upon us. Armed forces, like I told you, does not change who I am, but it only shapes the inner strengths. It brings out my strengths. It shapes me as a person. It just takes the blocks of my personality and maybe rearrange them in a way that I turn out the best self or best form of myself. Armed forces, many a times I'm asked how armed forces gave you discipline, etc. I would rather say armed forces does not give you discipline. If you are disciplined, then you are fit for armed forces lifestyle, right? So that discipline or readiness for it has to be within you, and that does not come overnight. Has to be right from family. So when we had started, you asked me for parents. One thing is for sure, that armed forces is never one night or overnight decision. It has to be inculcated. It has to be given to children day in, day out, over a period of time, so that they are mentally prepared for taking armed forces, a career, a challenge like that, when they are of age. So armed forces made me, like I said, the best self of myself, the best form of myself.
The best version of yourself.
Yes, that is what people say, right? So in personality development, etc. Which other services gives you, gives you the kind of lifestyle that army gives you, the kind of respect in your society, your social standing, not just for yourself, but also for your family, your parents, your children, right? What has armed forces really, how it has shaped me? I was a doctor, and you know how the doctor's life is. It is from books to hospital, patients sometimes, many a times it is a lot of books, a lot of studies, a lot of hard work, but related to hospital and within a frame. Army has taught me to break that frame and look beyond that frame. I can tell you one incidence where, I was in Jat Paltan, and it was very far-flung area. There is, wherever I was I was staying, it was a barrack, right? So there are no, it is around 0 degrees Celsius temperature, and it is snowing, etc. We have Bukharis, right? But we have limited तेल का supply, right? Oil supply कम रहता है, तो मतलब ऐसा नहीं है आर्म फोर्सेस में सब कुछ बहुत बढ़िया है, बट हम कम यूज़ करना चाहते हैं. वी वांट टू यूज़ इट जुडिशियसली. सो ये सब है. इसके बावजूद हम लोग वहाँ पे हैं, एस्बेस्टॉस के शीट्स का बैरक बनाया हुआ है एंड ऑल दैट. देयर इज़ नो गीज़र एक्सेट्रा. Me going from some city, etc. That was the first time I had actually seen snow and winter of that sort from Mumbai. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I can relate it.
yes, absolutely. And I asked my buddy कि भाई नहाने के लिए, so he said all right, नहाने के लिए पानी रखा. ठंडे पानी से कौन नहाएगा? अराउंड 0 डिग्री टेम्परेचर में कौन ठंडे पानी से, 4 डिग्री पे तो बर्फ बन जाएगी, है ना? बट देन I said नहीं, I cannot take a bath with normal water, I need hot water. So he said yes madam. He was till all those days that I stayed in that battalion, I stayed in that Palton, every day he was bringing 2 buckets of hot water for my use in the in the barrack. One time there was a patient early in the morning, because of which I had gone to our MI room, medical inspection room, or what we call MI room, but it is basically small OPD. I had to go in the middle of the night. There was another thing, something else. When I was coming back around 5:30, 6 o'clock, 6 a.m., this boy from down with 2 buckets, he's climbing up. And I asked Krishna, kahan ja rahe hain aap? Kya ho raha hai? He said, madam, aa raha hu. Then I didn't realize, I didn't understand what he was saying. I asked another fellow officer of mine later. He said, madam, when you request for hot water, he has to go down to the langar etc. वहाँ पे गर्म पानी का मतलब बड़ा वो चल रहा होता है. The water, everything is boiling down. From there, he would pick up those 2 buckets. He would climb up the hill, right, till your barrack, and then he'll give it to you. That is what he has to do for a couple of buckets of hot water every day, morning 6:30 a.m. That realization was different level. I was for a while cribbing, there is no geyser, there is no hot water, there is no nothing. Here I have a boy who's doing this without fail every day, just because I have asked him and not said one word ever. You want to feel sad that you are not getting all these facilities, or you want to be really happy because there is somebody who is ready to do that for you without a word. That kind of dedication, and that towards you or towards duty, and you witness it. The kind of experiences that I got in armed forces changed me for my entire life as a person. Not to mention the kind of clinical exposure that the doctor in me got would otherwise never have gotten that kind of exposure in any hospital. The doctors will not get that kind of how many landmine casualties, how many splinter injuries, how many just road traffic accidents invalidating from service, and how many casualties, losing eye, or just because of the gunshot or because of the launched rocket, losing my hearing. So many such things I have seen. Such exposure, such experiences as a doctor has enriched me. So as a person, I have been, given a different perspective. As a doctor, I saw something which is not written in books. And as a woman, I realized the power that a woman has over her emotions, or the power that emotions give a woman. There were places where I was posted. The civilians in the border villages are looked after by armed forces again. So there were no lady doctors, forget anything else. There were no doctors also. So armed forces doctors look after. There are villages where people prefer women dying rather than showing them to a gentleman officer, doctor, or gentleman doctor. They say, हमको मर्द डॉक्टर को नहीं दिखाना है, वो मर जाएगी चलेगा. You understand,
Yeah,
right?
I understand.
So we do not want to show her to a male officer. Let her die instead. Such women would come to me, and when I would treat them, that what else is a leader? One with empathy. I think that is that. These three things.
Let's move to the next session of the talk show. It's an adrenaline rush. Oh yeah, yeah. If not armed forces and medical corps, what would be your career option?
Maybe I would have taken theatre as option.
Okay. So you love theaters?
Yes, or maybe some adventurous
Artistic
sport. Artist, yeah, yes, or art or adventure.
Okay. So adventure sports, I mean to say.
It could have been something like mountaineering.
Okay.
Or something else, or then barefoot doctors, or maybe Doctors Without Borders.
Okay. Wow. What are the other activities that you do in a free time? I mean to say, some motivational speaker or any other stuff?
Being a mother of 5-year-old, everybody can agree with me that there is no free time.
Okay.
But after all my professional engagement, the best thing and the most important thing that I do is spending time with my 5-year-old daughter, Anandita, and my family. And of course, a little bit of reading if I can get. What I am doing right now is community medicine, and especially in tribal and rural areas. So there is a lot, not just about health, but also other sectors and development in these areas, such as women, empowerment, let's say financial literacy, or youth development, skill building, etc. So there are quite a few activities that I am into, which actually do take a lot of my attention and a lot of my, my attention.
You have been posted to multiple areas across the India. Which one of your is the favorite postings?
I was posted in various battalions, but my favorite has always been my my parent unit, my field hospital. Apart from that, the Maratha unit I was posted in, because it always felt like home when I was with the Paltan.
Okay. Which book are you reading currently?
I am actually currently reading Diwali Anka. This is very specific to Maharashtra again, Kaushik. Diwali Anka is a specific literary, copy of, literary copy, especially taken out for Diwali, during Diwali, and very specific to Maharashtra. Even also in Bengal, we have during Durga Puja, they have special editions of the books. So this is Ashlesha Diwali Anka.
Okay.
It is my name, Ashlesha, and how is it related? It is actually my father is the editor.
Okay.
And when I was at the borders, for Diwali, we did not get chutti. So Diwali, Farar, the sweets, etc. Very specific again.
It's a tradition.
Traditional sweets. So Diwali Farar never used to reach intact there at our unit. So it all would get, everything would break. Those chaklis and all those things would break, and I would not get that Farar. So how to send Diwali Farar at borders at my unit? My father started with this literary Farar, a literary sweets and savories, and then he sent this Diwali Anka in 2012 to my unit, and we all, me, myself and my boys, we all enjoyed this Diwali Farar that Diwali, and it was really, since then, this is the 12th year actually So right now I'm actually going through this.
Okay. You can
Diwali
share
anchor.
this to the viewers also. They can
sure.
share on the
And I'm very,
description
very
box
proud
below.
of it because it is something which is so unique, and there's so much of so many emotions are attached with it. But otherwise, also I'm reading one of the nicer books, 25 Greatest Speeches of Vivekananda.
Okay.
So yes, right now I'm going through these.
Major Ashlesha Tawde Kelkar, what would be you as an officer, as an army officer, or as a medical doctor? What would you prefer?
Let me say I'm not a medical doctor, just medical doctor, but I'm a community medical doctor, so community medicine. And the skill that I require for being effective community medicine practitioner or community medical professional comes from my armed forces training. So I say Major Dr.Ashlesha Tawde Kelkar. So it's both army as well as community.
So it was an indeed inspirational, impeccable experience, and we have been discussing this session, Dare to Dream, with Dr. Major Ashlesha Tawde Kelkar. It's on the Sapien show. We are signing off for the day. Thank you very much.
Dhanyawad. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Please do like, share and subscribe, and do connect us on Telegram. The link is below in the description box.